We had some technical difficulties. I apologize, but now we're ready to go. Welcome back to Future Money. So, a second, not the right slide. The electricity kept going out. It was outside of our control. So I guess we had to get a battery backup, like I got in Puerto Rico. I got a house in Puerto Rico that's off the grid, so it's got generator, Starlink, everything like that, water supply. In case there's a catastrophe, you know, I'm real big about preparing for catastrophes. I think that should actually be part of somebody's investment strategy. I think that you should shoot for the stars, but also prepare for the worst. One of the ways you prepare for the worst is you have everything set up in your life so that if everything, you have to freak out one day, and we saw with COVID. Now, the thing about people is that they try not to think about things like that. Like if you tell somebody, well, the United States could fall, or the government could fall, or it could be a worldwide catastrophe or another greater pandemic, people are going to say, oh, that's never going to happen. And we saw, if you would have told people 2 years before COVID that would have happened, nobody would have believed you. That we were going to be locked in our house, that the roads would be empty, that a lot of people would either lose their jobs or get laid off, and everybody would be at home for months. People wouldn't even have believed you, and everybody would have been wearing masks. They wouldn't have believed you. So that should have showed everybody alive today that anything is possible. And it doesn't take a lot of money to prepare for a great catastrophe. Generator, some water supplies, you know, $200 worth of food that lasts you 6 months, freeze-dried food for your family. And some, you know, if you're into it, ammunition, guns, stuff like that. And it won't even cost you $1,000 to prepare for the worst case scenario. And at the worst case scenario, and think about preparing for the disasters, it's almost like paying for insurance, is that you pay for these things and you hope that it doesn't happen. So the best case scenario is that you never use it. That's why I believe in preparation. So I am Armando Pantoja, your host, tech futurist, investor, and creator of multiple exits. Every Monday and Wednesday, I take you inside the trends that will shape the next decade of wealth, from crypto to stocks and emerging tech. Future Money is about clarity, timing, and strategy. I break down what's coming, why it matters, how to stay ahead and build wealth in this fast-changing world. Whether you're starting out looking to sharpen your edge, I'm going to give you the mindset, the tools, and the knowledge to break through and thrive in tomorrow's markets. So, I want to talk about a few things today. We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk about how Meta may possibly adopt Ripple's RLUSD, which could set XRP up for a massive breakout, could get to $9, $10, $11 very rapidly. Ethereum is finally waking up after 4 years of silence. A lot of analysts, a lot of people out there are now calling for a run towards $10,000, something I've been talking about for months, even years. And now I guess everybody's starting to wake up to that fact. I always said Ethereum had a lot of promise, a lot of potential. It was very early. It's 6 years younger than Bitcoin and 4 years younger than XRP. But I'm sorry, 3 years younger than XRP. But it is it's the biggest coin on earth for DeFi and smart contracts. So a lot of people are using, a lot of developers are using Ethereum. And we're also going to cover 2 expected breakout stocks and what's next and what's going on with Palantir and NVIDIA. Finally, we're going to talk about Tesla's Robotaxi launch. It's just weeks away, about to happen in Austin, Texas. It could change everything for autonomous transport. So let's get into it. So first thing we're going to talk about is Meta's big move. But before we do that, I want to talk a little bit about what's going on right now with Bitcoin. So let me see if we got the Bitcoin chart up right now. So Bitcoin right now is still in consolidation mode. We saw a huge move a couple of weeks ago. Now it's at 104.5, more or less. It's coming out. If you can, I don't know if you can see this chart. Let me see if I can get it up some. Yeah. So we can see the chart. Yesterday, we had, it was kind of staying above 104, 105. We had a steep drop last night, early in the morning. It got all the way down to almost 100 on some markets. and now we're back to 105. So it looked like it's coming out of that drop. It was a temporary drop, thank God, and it's not anything that's going to last for a long time. So, I'm glad that this is happening. Like I said, Bitcoin is the driver of the market. So whatever Bitcoin does, that's what the whole market does. Right now, Bitcoin is doing exactly what we thought it would do. Like we said, consolidation beneath the all-time high resistance. Rather than getting right to the all-time high and getting rejected, it's building strength right now. I believe it's going to explode much higher than the previous all-time high, which is around 108, 109. I think we're going to break. A lot of people right now are projecting Bitcoin over the next 2 weeks to get to 116 to 120. And I think that's very possible that can happen sometime this week because a lot of the things with the tariffs are clearing up. We're getting a lot of clarity on where Trump is going with the trade deals. People are starting to get more confidence in the economy. Stocks are doing extraordinarily well over the last few weeks. A lot of new investors are coming into the market because they're starting to see that Bitcoin's price is being sustained over time. That also is the same for XRP, Ethereum, and Bitcoin, and a lot of other cryptos out there. So I do believe we're on the verge of a huge altcoin market that we're going to come to, altcoin season as they call it. And I think that we're going to see a lot of movement in cryptocurrency over the next few months, specifically Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. Now, back in 2023, and somebody, one of those corporate dudes, he got on my page and he was very angry. No, I'm sorry, on YouTube. He posted on Wednesday's video. I don't know what, all the dudes are the same. They got a frazzled polo, cargo shorts that a little bit below their knees with Birkenstocks or some other similar flip-flop on. And no matter the race, they all look the same. It's weird. So he comes on my page and he's like, oh, he gets all angry. He comes on my page and he's angry. I'm sick of you. All you do is brag about what you've done in the past. I don't want to hear that. All I want to hear is knowledge. I'm so tired of you. And I'm like, the reason why I tell you that we talked about this in the past is, one, because a lot of you have followed me for years and you've made your big wins. I'm really not trying. I mean, a little bit. I may be trying to brag a little bit, but I'm really trying to, what I'm trying to do is like, I use a lot of analogies with basketball. If I'm playing basketball with my son, right? And and he tries to go for a steal, and I go between my legs, push him to the side, go to the hole with my left hand and score. So then I go back to my son and I say, do you know why I beat you? Why, Poppy? Because you don't go for a steal when you're on his hip unless you get low enough to take the ball and you got to move fast. If you go slow, the guy's just going to cross over, push you over to the side, especially when he has longer arms, and he's going to score on you. That's the reason why you got scored on. You have to be careful when you go for steals with somebody that has a size or a height advantage on you when you're close to the rim, because if you miss, they're going to get you on their hip and they're going to score easily. Now, that's not bragging. I'm showing him what happened in the past in order for him to next time expect it and do better the next time. That's not bragging. That's just showing you what happened in the past. Like 2023, I said, somebody asked me on the Wall Street, I was on a Florida Wall Street stock exchange, the New York Stock Exchange. And somebody asked me, they said, Armando, what do you think are the biggest cryptos going to move next year? And at the time, there was a bunch of meme coins out, and a lot of young people were thinking that was the next big thing. They were putting a lot of money in meme coins. I don't know if you remember, like a year and a half ago or so. A few went up really high. And a guy asked me, he was like, so, and I said, well, I said Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP are going to do great next year. And I added a couple of coins, and I did say IOTA was a dark horse. It could win one day, but the team would have to get their act together. And it is a very advanced technology, but there's a lot of risk with that. And I talked about some other coins, ASI, I talked about AI tokens, but I really focused on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. And that one of those things went viral. And I remember a lot of people was putting on that post back in 2023 that I was, that's old coins. There's new coins out there. That's a list for 2016, 17 that no longer is valid. and all these things. And people still do that today. They'll put up a list and they'll say, well, all these other coins are going to do better because they don't account for risk. Risk is a huge factor in all of this. And there's nothing wrong with risk. Risk is just risk. Like I said last night on my other live, is that every day I get into the car, go to the store. Like let's say I need some socks or I need some new shoes. So I say, well, I'm gonna drive to the mall and buy some new shoes. So on the way to the mall, I could get killed on the highway. There's a chance I can get killed. In fact, the number one cause of death, or one of the top 3 causes of death in the United States, is car-related injuries and car crashes. It's health, like it's heart problems and car crashes. So what I do is I calculate that risk in my head and say, well, the odds are I'm not going to get in a car wreck, but I really need the shoes. So I get in the car and I take that risk. Now, that's not bad. I just calculated and then went and did it. But then when you talk about stocks in the same way, people are like, oh God, what are you talking about risk? Risk exists every day. I could get electrocuted by these lights right now. I could trip over this, hit my head and die. I could walk outside, a car hits me and kills me. I can go pull out my car with gas, a flame lights the gas on fire. It's risk all around us. That doesn't mean you don't go forward. It means that you account for the risk, you analyze it, and you say, well, whatever I'm going to get out of this action is better than what the risk is. So you do it. That's all it is. But back to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP, I picked those, and they were the top 3, and it was a couple others I picked because those were the ones that had the most history and the least risk. Now, all these other meme coins all failed, every single one. They were talking about back in 2023. 90% of meme coins that dropped in 23 are zero. 99 have dropped over 75%. Now, you may have 1 or 2 out of the hundreds or thousands that were dropped that actually did well. Now, how would you possibly find those unless you had an inside tracker? You just got extremely lucky. Now, if you were to put your money in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP and evenly divide it back in 23, you'd be up 280% right now. Almost 4 times your money if you had done that. Now, that's what risk management does, is that, yeah, the 2 meme coins that exploded went up 100 times, yeah, you missed those. But all the other ones that you would have possibly lost your money on, those 2 that went up 100 times wouldn't have even accounted for the losses in all the other ones if you had evenly divided every meme coin that dropped. That's what risk management does. And that's the reason why a lot of these people just cannot understand it, because they get into investment, they want to make a big win, they throw risk to the side and go for big gains. Number one reason people fail in investing in stocks or crypto or even in businesses, they shoot too high at the first and disregard risk altogether. So, Meta Platforms right now is reportedly exploring the integration of stablecoins for cross-border payments across its social media ecosystem. One of the number 1 contenders they're looking at, supposedly, the rumors say, is Ripple's RLUSD. It's a stablecoin built on the XRP ledger. Now, if they select RLUSD, it could significantly impact XRP's price and adoption. A big player like Meta integrating XRP could positively affect everything. And it would even open up a whole new world in which every social media, back to game theory, is that every social media platform will be forced to start integrating stablecoins. Meta right now is in discussion, supposedly, this is all rumors, now it's not been substantiated, to integrate stablecoins like RLUSD for cross-border payments on their platform. We just talked about that. RLUSD was launched in December 24, not even 7 months, and has achieved a market cap of over 300 million, daily volume over 100 million. Now, if this potential partnership happens, it will cause an exponential increase in the usage of RLUSD. Now, people say, how could XRP benefit from that? How is that possible? Because people have actually come to me and say, RLUSD and XRP are 2 different cryptocurrencies. if somebody, RLUSD is a stable coin, it doesn't go up in value. There's no investment potential in RLUSD. It's supposed to stay the same no matter what. A stable coin, people to make transactions without worrying about the fluctuations of cryptocurrency. So you got RLUSD, you got XRP, two different things. So why would they be affected? Now, the reason is because RLUSD is built on XRP's blockchain. Now, in order for us to send RLUSD around the world, we have to pay that technological system or the blockchain in XRP fees. We have to pay fees in XRP. So if I want to send $100 of RLUSD to somebody, I may have to pay $1 or $2, maybe less, but it's less than that, but I'm making it simple, $1 or $2 in XRP to do it. And also, some XRP gets burned when transactions get sent. That means our XRP gets destroyed completely. I have to pay the system in XRP, and the nodes benefit from that. So anybody that's running a node on the system, by processing transactions, you receive a fee in XRP. And then secondly is that the system also takes a little bit of XRP and just destroys it. So what that does is two things, is that XRP starts to get used more, because in order for us to send that RLUSD around, in order for, if Meta integrated into their systems, in order to send it, they'd have to use XRP. Now, an entire system like Meta integrating RLUSD and having to pay in XRP fees every time somebody sends it dramatically increases the first use case of XRP. And secondly, it increases the demand for XRP. And also remember, the second part of that is that it's burning XRP as those transactions go around the world. So there's two things happening here: increasing demand and reducing supply. Those two things, basic high school economics, the price has to go up exponentially. Now, normally in basic economics, one of the two has to happen. The demand goes up, supply remains the same, price goes up. Now, if the supply drops, demand remains the same, the price goes up. Now, there's very few cases in which the supply goes down and the demand goes up. That almost never it happens sometime in economics, but it rarely happens. Sometimes the demand will go up because the supply dropped, because people see it as more rare. But it never happens outside of situations like that, where the supply starts to drop as the demand goes up. That always increases. It causes what's called a supply crunch, in which then more people start wanting XRP because of that, and it's what's called a long squeeze. It's opposite of a short squeeze. As people start going long on XRP, exponential growth, and that's how we're going to get from where we are today to those $20, $30, $40, $50 predictions. Is that the people, the naysayers about XRP, don't understand all of this. All they know is they see charts. All they know is they see the market cap. All they know is that they are anchored to what's happening right now. And they don't understand what's coming. That's the whole point of Future Money, is to analyze, prepare, and teach you guys about what's coming in the market. So we can, first of all, prepare, we can be early into these investments, and we can also benefit when they start to happen. That's the whole point of Future Money. That's the whole point. And a lot of people don't realize that because they're stuck with today. So Meta did have an attempt at launching its own stablecoin before, partnered with it now, and it failed. Government came after them, stopped them from doing it. But a successful partnership between Meta and Ripple could set a precedence, like we said before, of mass adoption across all social media platforms. People say if the news comes out tomorrow, it's not going to come out tomorrow, but let's say it did, XRP's price would more than likely rapidly explode to $5 to $10. Then it would get to those $20, $30, $40 valuations over time as adoption or integration into Meta's platform started, and the demand and the supply starts going down and the demand starts going up. That's where we would see those maybe even $100 valuations. If all of these things happen, remember the lawsuit's over, these things start to happen, the ETF, all of these things that are happening on the horizon will push XRP to those predictions we're talking about. That's what's coming in the future. It's not what's happening today. It's what's coming. And if you are smart enough, if you're forward thinking enough, you can clearly see these things start to happen. There's actually a XRP ETF that got dropped today. It wasn't a spot ETF. Now, spot ETFs are different. It was a different type of ETF that was some kind of way they use stocks and other derivatives to kind of like mimic the price of XRP. So that's what they did, but it's not a spot ETF. Spot ETF is what Bitcoin has, what Ethereum has. We want XRP to have a spot ETF. This lawsuit has to be resolved. They just, the Judge Torres just said the Ripple has to pay the full 125. So when they pay that full 125, the lawsuit will be rapidly over sometime next month, hopefully. And when that lawsuit is clearly over, we're going to see a spike up in the price too. I think it can go up $1 or even more just based on the news of the lawsuit being resolved. So I want to talk about a few more things. We still got to talk about Ethereum. We got to talk about these two tech stocks I think are going to do well. We're going to talk about Palantir and NVIDIA. But before we do that, I want you guys to understand that the CNC is open. It's a private community built around real education, proven strategy, and proven results. You'll get access to step-by-step courses, crypto, and stock picks. It's a tight knit group of serious investors and live events that will take the learning and understanding how all these things work even deeper. We've helped over 30 people become millionaires, a lot starting with less than 10,000. A lot of people are making a lot of money with the tools that we teach. Some guy said last night, over the last year, he turned 5,000 into 30,000. If you're in the CNC, be making money, drop those money bags in the chat. Or if you've made money in the CNC, 97 to get in. The link is in my bio on Instagram and on YouTube. Or you can just DM me the word CNC. We'll also put it here in the chat. Join the CNC.com. It's also right here. So you can go there and see it as well. And the second thing I want to talk about is we do have the event in LA. The event is called DeLorean Dreams. May 22nd, Los Angeles. We're going to be unlocking the biggest investment opportunities on the horizon, from crypto to real estate, robotics, nuclear energy, quantum computing stocks. Every attendee that leaves my events always leaves with life-changing insights and strategies to hopefully make a lot of money. You'll hear directly from real estate experts, visionary entrepreneurs who are capitalizing on what's coming next. I will close the event with a 1-hour lecture while I break down the most strategic investments across every sector. I'll show you what's coming in technology. I'll explain to you how it works, because I strongly believe you should understand your investments. If we're going to invest in a company that's working on fusion technology, energy creation, we need to understand, at least at the base level, what fusion is. If you want to understand what fission is, like Oklo, you have to understand what fission is. And that's what we do. We take you through a journey of all of that in this event. We take you through a journey of everything. So that's what this event about. We're working on maybe doing a live streaming option. So we'll see if we can get that sometime today. And we're gonna, if not, we're gonna record it anyway. So if they let us, because we still working with them on that, and we'll have we'll actually provide the video to the CNC members. So the link is in the bio. DM me the word Los Angeles on Instagram, or you can, let me put the link of that in the bio. So we put that in the bio as well. So I want to talk about Ethereum. So we got 849 people in there, but we only got 100 likes. I need you guys to like the video if you're new to the channel. Please subscribe to the channel. We do this every 2 times a week. We also drop a lot of very knowledgeable videos that you can learn a lot, and we try to find the best investments that are on the horizon, and we talk about what's coming in the world of investing and also in the world of technology, which is I've got years doing this. I went to college, Allsby State University. I got a bachelor's in computer science, did my graduate studies at University of South Florida. That's the reason why I live in Florida now. I studied software engineering with a software security specialization. I went to the world, worked at Home Depot. I worked at Lowe's. My last job I ever had was at AAA here in, AAA, the car company. We worked on the app, but I actually worked on the travel system. I was the lead engineer on this travel system. So I ended up, selling a company, got acquired, and then I started this. And I also was a college instructor in the past. So I really like teaching. So I really appreciate you guys. It gave me an opportunity to get back to what I love. Like when I sold the company, set me up for life financially, but you guys gave me a new life. So I'm able to teach something that I just didn't want to do it inside of a university structure. But I really enjoy this, and I appreciate you guys for tuning in every week or every 2 times a week or every time we go live. I really appreciate that. So like I said, please like the video. It helps with engagement, helps get the message out there, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Also share this with your friends, please. So Ethereum's big break. Ethereum is showing signs of a major breakout after years of sideways movement. Recent upgrades, bullish, and a lot of bullish analyst predictions have caused a lot of attention to get on Ethereum. Ethereum could be on the verge of a very significant price surge. There's a lot of factors fueling this momentum, and let's break these down. Right now, Ethereum, I believe, is at, where's my pen? My pocket. Do I have it? Oh, here it is. So I think Ethereum right now is around 2,500. Let's see. It's at 24. It's almost right under 2,500. It's down 1% today. Yeah, Ethereum right now is at 2464. So, it did the same drop as Bitcoin, went down early this morning. It didn't come out as strong as Bitcoin, but right now it's sitting at about 2,500, which is very good because remember 3 weeks ago, we were at about 1,400. So it's still pretty good, I think. And I really believe that Ethereum is going to get back to all-time highs. It's going to shock a lot of people. A lot of analysts are starting to talk about it. It's pushing that momentum. It's been in a 4-year consolidation phase for the last 4 years. It hasn't really done a lot. Ethereum used to be one of the hottest cryptos out there. In 2020, it went from right around, the bottom of that cycle was $80, and it got all the way up to 4,700. And a lot of that was pushed because of, at the time, Ethereum was the #1 platform for NFTs. So as people created all these NFTs, it was built on Ethereum's blockchain. In the same way we talked about how RLUSD is built on top of XRP's platform. As these things get built on your platform in blockchain, they have to pay fees to the native currency, which in this case is Ethereum, in RLUSD's case is XRP, in order to transfer these things like NFTs and all these other stuff. So Ethereum went from $80 to 4,700 in that cycle because of NFTs, one of the biggest, and also a lot of hype. But then, since then, there hasn't been a real big narrative that has drove Ethereum over the last few years. So it's kind of been at a standstill consolidation phase. As Bitcoin went up a lot, as all these other coins, Solana came out of nowhere, Ethereum has kind of stayed kind of flat. A lot of skeptics said that Ethereum was dead, and they used the fact that Solana, which is a similar blockchain, was rising rapidly, was newer, and was a lot cheaper, and it's not more efficient, but it's Solana network goes down a lot. Ethereum hardly never goes down. So I think Ethereum is a stronger built platform. It's a lot older, so they've gotten out all the bugs. But a lot of people thought Solana would overtake Bitcoin. Ethereum. I always said that wouldn't happen, but a lot of people think it did. But there was an upgrade called the Petra upgrade that happened a week or so ago. And that was a huge, when the team in blockchain and in technology, the people on your team are very important. The technology does not matter as much as the team, the intelligence, the experience, and the execution ability of the team. That can move a project a lot faster than just what the idea or the technology is. IOTA is probably the best idea I've ever seen in cryptocurrency, but their team is bad. So it doesn't matter. We've seen this in athletics. James Harden is one. Is that if you can be the best one-on-one player or the best quarterback or the best wide receiver, whatever in any sport, doesn't matter if the team is not cohesive, the team does not work together, and the team cannot execute. It doesn't matter who's good, none of that matters. Because just like sports, technology is a team sport. So when the tech world or the blockchain world or the fintech world saw how Ethereum was, the Petra update was pretty big. And they saw how seamlessly the team executed that. it caused a lot of attention to get back on Ethereum because, first of all, the Spectra upgrade increased efficiency and it decreased fees. One time I was in an event 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years, it may have been 2021, and I'm at an event here in Tampa, and I'm talking about how I think Ethereum is the #1 crypto, and I think one day it will be. I never changed that. I like XRP a lot, but I said #1 by market cap will eventually be Ethereum. Now, XRP could be 2 or 3 in that scenario, but in XRP, like I said before, and people got this confused, I said XRP will more than likely temporarily pass Ethereum at some point, but it won't be sustainable. That's what I said. And people don't understand the nuances in what you talk about. Long term, I've always said that Ethereum will be the #1 crypto. And I stand by that. So a guy came, I was talking about Ethereum, how I liked it a lot. And one guy, he tried to challenge me. He wasn't a corporate dude. He was like a younger dude. You know, a lot of younger dudes have a lot of, I was like this when I was young too. You'd be overconfident. So some old dudes overconfident, but young people, I give them a pass on that because everybody, when they get out of college, they learn something new in their 20s, they become overconfident. Over time, you realize you don't know as much as you thought you knew, and then eventually you become an expert. It's actually called the Dunning-Kruger principle. It's actually a principle in psychology that says that this happens with most people. But so the guy looked at me and said, how can you say that Ethereum is going to be #1 big crypto when the fees are ridiculous? That doesn't make sense. And I said, you know, he was a young kid, so I didn't attack him. And I said, look, man, technology works like this. All technology starts out buggy, expensive, and inefficient. And in most cases, when a technology first comes out, it's almost unusable. It's easier just to do it than the old way because the new technology is so buggy. Like back in the day with cars or Ford Motor Company and all these things started to blow up, people would have their car, you know, go down the street, and it would just break down. And they have videos of horses just walking right past it. And everybody's like, why would you buy one of those crazy machines? They don't even last. You got to go and you ever seen old videos of dudes in the car with the gloves on trying to figure out, and he cranks it up, he gets in the car, then it breaks down. And a lot of people use that example as like, look at this, man, my horse never breaks down. My horse gets to the place faster than this jalopy. So why would somebody ever use this thing? And it costs a lot more than a horse. Now, that's technology, early technology. And over time, it gets better, it gets cheaper, it gets more efficient, and it becomes easier to use. You don't have to crank it anymore. You don't have to have 7 to 8 levers. You don't have to know how to fix the engine. All that's taken care of for you. So all you got to do now in a car is get in there and press a big button to start it. And now, even the shifter ain't even connected to the motor no more. It's all electric. I mean, they got, you know, it's common now for cars to keep you in the lanes. In 5 years, we won't even have to drive no more. They do it all for us. But that's the progression of technology. Now, Ethereum and any other technology goes along that same path. It starts out buggy, expensive, and almost unusable. But the idea, the core idea is good. That's what you got to look for. Now, over time, adoption starts, and it gets better as the company or whoever is developing whatever the technology is, or the group of companies, they start to get more money. They put more money in development. People learn more. The people who create the first technologies learn from their mistakes, and it gets better and better and better. And finally, all those problems are gone. It's cheap, it's efficient, and it's user friendly. And that's what I told the guy. I said, yeah, right now it's expensive. Give it 5, 10 years, Ethereum will be cheap. They will do something. I didn't know what it was, but they'll do some type of upgrade. They'll make the system more efficient. The price will come down. Cell phones were expensive too. Price came down. So that's what's starting to happen now with this Spectra upgrade. They also have another upgrade on the horizon that's going to make it even faster and even cheaper. And that's going to clear the path to higher prices. The market was completely wrong about Ethereum. Now, that tells you something. You have to be careful who you listen to. Many analysts, especially on X.com, formerly Twitter, counted Ethereum out. It was over. Especially younger people. It's over. It's done. Solana's going to replace it. But there's a place in Bitcoin and in cryptocurrency and in blockchain for both Solana and Ethereum to both exist. Just like there's a way for Ford and Chevy to exist, like there's a way for Apple and Microsoft to exist. There's a way for Android and Apple phones to exist. The market can support many big players, and Ethereum, Solana, Bitcoin, XRP can all exist and all do well and all make a lot of the early investors a lot of money, and all exist in a world of the future. You got to remember is that people tend to, with cryptocurrency in general, especially XRP, especially Ethereum, especially the top few cryptos. And I'm going to say this before we move on because I want to make sure you understand this point. And at first it may sound crazy, but Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, and Sam Altman both agreed on this, and I agree too, is that in a world of AI, where we're in right now, people right now use AI as a partner, they use it as a therapist, they use it as a friend. They say actually that's the biggest use case of ChatGPT right now is people use it as a friend, telling them what they did over work that day, asking for advice. It was almost a life coach. What's going to happen over time in the next 5-10 years? We're going to have more transformation than we've ever seen in the last 100 years or 200 years. AI agents and personalities will start to come to life. They will either have consciousness or a solid mimicking of consciousness. And to the average person, it doesn't matter. You don't know if I'm a robot right now. I could be one. There's no way for you ever to know that I'm not really conscious. You can't get in my brain. You can't see the world from my perception. You just have to judge me being conscious based on my actions. Now, once a ChatGPT or a more advanced system gets significantly enough advanced to be on a humanoid robot or maybe even on a computer in a virtual world, it will be able to convince people that it is a true conscious personality, even if it's not one. And either way, it doesn't matter. Now, because they don't require as many resources as humans, there can be hundreds and hundreds of millions of these agents and personalities, both online and virtual and in the real world. Now, each one of these personalities, if they are mimicking consciousness or true consciousness, will have to use resources. That includes money. Now, let's say the population of Earth, if we include these virtual people, I want to say, is now 100 billion instead of 8 billion. Now, a lot of them are virtual, so they don't take up any space, but they do need access to resources like cryptocurrency. Now, where do you think the market cap of all of these cryptos are going to go to if you multiply the population of the Earth by 15? Very rapidly, out of nowhere. Because each one of these personalities will use resources between each other, send money, whatever, same as any other human. Now, that's what people don't see on the horizon. That's all these things we talk about. Nobody sees these things. They see what's happening today. That's where we're going to see the biggest growth for Ethereum, Bitcoin, all this stuff is because the virtual personalities 10, 20 years from now are going to be using cryptocurrency along with humans. That's the biggest thing people don't see. Now, I want to talk about two things, two unexpected tech stocks that a lot of people aren't watching right now. We gotta stop at 12? Well, that's when we have to stop. Because now we're late, because I want to go over these two cryptos. So you think Cardano ADI fares against Ethereum? Cardano is a different network. I think that it's going to do well. That's still in the mix. I just didn't mention it. I actually put out a video the other day, and I said if somebody were giving $1,000, I would include ADA. If I had $1,000 to invest in the cryptocurrency. Yeah, we only got 300 likes, but 800 people. I don't know why y'all refuse to like. I don't go. All right. So now there are two breakout stocks that are getting a lot of attention for two different reasons. One we talked about last year. It's called Rigetti Computing. We talked about that in my events and also on lives. And I talked about that because of Rigetti Computing has a connection to quantum computers. And I thought that they would do well as quantum computers started to do good into late 2025, 26. Now, Google did come out with a Willow a quantum computer chip last year, I believe, but I don't think it was sufficient enough advanced to actually do damage in the corporate world or anything. So I still think we're about almost maybe a year out before they really start dropping these chips that are going to change everything. Remember, AI was out since 1956. There was a huge advance in AI in the 60s, 70s. There was another big one in the mid 80s. And there was another one around 2010, 11, 12, and then there was the biggest one around 2023 when ChatGPT was dropped. So these things advance over time, and so I think in a year and a half from when Willow dropped, we'll see another big advancement, and that's where all these quantum computer stocks will start to rise back up and do well. Investors need to understand what's driving these surges. There's also another one out there that's doing well, but we're going to talk about Rigetti. I want to talk about that, But like I said, we called it out January of this year and also last year, last year. A lot of people, and I keep track of everything I talk about. And I don't talk about a lot of stocks. I only talk about maybe 10, 12 a year, maybe a little bit more. So some of these people just call out every stock that when they go up, they take credit for it. I don't do that. I only stick on, we only talk about, most of the time we talk about Nvidia, Palantir, maybe another stock. I don't do that. I stick to maybe, let's say 15. I stick to under 15 stocks a year. And we focus on those, maybe like 4 or 5, maybe 10 cryptos. And that's what we do, right? I think that you are better off focusing on a more narrow sector and just, making your money off of that, especially in a sector like cryptocurrency and technology, which is advancing very rapidly. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Please like the video before we continue. So a lot of people are comparing Rigetti right now to early stage Nvidia. I think there's a strong potential that we could see a lot of growth in Rigetti. But remember, this early, there's a risk. And the risk to me is worth the reward. Now, Rigetti right now is 11. Let's say it could get to 300. That's a 25 times gain. Now, there's a chance that Rigetti won't do what it says. Maybe some other player comes out, beats them to the punch. Maybe their team is bad. Maybe the CEO makes mistakes. So now remember, they're overvalued right now. So there's a lot of risk points here, but with quantum computers, when they start to come out, right now Rigetti is one of the hottest names fueling the quantum computer movement. Technically, like I said, it's overvalued. And a lot of this surge is driven by market hype rather than fundamental business growth, which we're going to discuss later. But we see this a lot of times, but I think you should approach Rigetti with caution. But like I told people last night, I'm going to start adding more to my portfolio. I think Rigetti's a good choice. Now, you do whatever you want to do. This is not financial advice. But I think that this could possibly be a Nvidia type situation. We get in early enough, but instead of based on AI, it's based on quantum computers. And I think we're going to start to see the resurgence of quantum computers sometime in 26. We'll start to see it come back and people talking about the narrative starting to come back into the consciousness of everybody who's in investing. So I think we're going to start to see that then. Now, if you want to learn more than the basics that we provide here on Strategy Sunday and on Future Money, I welcome you to join my Chestnut Checkers group. Join the CNC.com right here. It's a private community built around real education, proven strategy, powerful results. You get access to step-by-step courses, crypto, and stock picks. Tight-knit group of serious investors. Helped over 30 people become millionaires over the last 5 years. So a lot started with less than 10,000. One guy said in a year he turned 5 into 30. Every day we teach the tools you need to be successful. 97 to get in. Link is in the bio. Or I'm going to put it in the chat here. I think we already did it. So just DM me the word CNC on any social media platform. I'll send you the link, or you can click the link right there. It's jointhecnc.com. Also, we have the event in LA, May 22nd, Los Angeles. We're going to be unlocking the biggest investment opportunities on the horizon: crypto, stocks, humanoid robotics, nuclear energy, and quantum computers. Every attendee, every event I does leaves with life-changing information, a new perspective on life. That's why I call it DeLorean Dreams, because I want you to awake from or leave this experience like you awoke from a dream that changed your life. Most people have had a dream in which they went to sleep and made some new connections, either in people or events or something else, and woke up with a new. I experienced this a lot when I was studying computer science. One time I remember it was a dream I had. I was trying to figure out how to program. I didn't even know how. It was my first year. And I went to sleep. And during the dream, I started to make these connections about how programming works. And I woke up after the dream and I typed out the whole assignment. And that was the life-changing event that like changed me and made me understand. Because I had all the information. I was listening to the teacher, but none of it clicked. None of it connected. And that dream put it all together some kind of way. I woke up, I went right to my computer and typed it all out. I understood the words, the knowledge, and how, but I didn't make the connection until that dream made the connection. That's why I call this event DeLorean Dreams. Yeah, we're gonna have a DeLorean there too. We will have a DeLorean. So Back to the Future DeLorean there. So the event will close with a 45-minute lecture from me where I'll break down the most strategic investments across every sector that we just talked about and how to secure your financial future. So DM me the word Los Angeles, or you can go to, I'll put the link down here. So you can go, what happened there? The last thing I want to talk about is Palantir. So Palantir is the last thing we're talking about. We got like 15 minutes, but Palantir is a key player in the AI revolution. We called it out when it was around 6 right now. What do we call it? We call it Ethereum was at 6 or 7. I think, I don't want to lie, but I think it was 6 or 7. It's at 129 now. I don't know where it's at this morning. This was last night. Can you type Palantir in? Palantir stock. Yeah, it's at 125, so it's a little bit down, 3% down. But Palantir is a key player in the AI revolution. Is it up there? Yeah, it is. It's a key player in the AI revolution. Seen its stock surge nearly 25 times fold since early 2023 when we called it out. Its AI-driven platform is gaining traction beyond government contracts. Could this be an opportunity? Even at these price levels. Now, we want to talk about some things that it is some risk points here. Palantir does have what they call an AIP, an artificial intelligence platform. It's expanding into new markets, new investors. It's making complex data analysis which used to be only accessible to the very rich. I remember back in 2019, 18, 19, and 17, it was $2,000 an hour to use a AI system. I think it was 5,000. I'm sorry, it was 5,000 an hour for you to access AI. That's the AI back then. Now everybody has access to it through ChatGPT. The same type of systems that were available in 2016. They weren't even as advanced as ChatGPT. It used to be 5,000 an hour. But there's more advanced AI platforms than ChatGPT. That's what we have. But Palantir has one that's far more advanced. It's called AIP. It makes complex data analysis accessible to everybody who pays them. And they're trying to expand this into new markets. Palantir's number one client is the U.S. government, but they want to expand into new markets. But one problem with Palantir is because they do work with the government also restricts on who they can sell, so they can only sell to Americans or American allies, which kind of restricts them. But still, I think there's a lot of concerns about its high valuation and the challenges like that with them being restricted to who they can sell to and how they can sustain such a rapid growth they've experienced over the last 2 years. Now, Palantir stock, I believe, I knew that there would be a drawdown, but I believe at this point, there's a lot of potential to continue rising sharply if they can expand that AIP, that artificial intelligence platform that they have, to the commercial sector and to the retail sector. And they can maintain their current pace. Right now, they're growing at about 30 to 40% every year. I think they can do well. But right now, to be honest with you, Palantir's price is based a lot on hype and future potential. Now, whenever you look at a stock, stocks can be valued multiple ways. Now, you really want a stock that's valued through fundamentals. That's the least risk. But the problem with fundamentals is that you don't make a lot of money on those. So as a a safe investor, you want to look for a stock that has sound fundamentals and the stock price reflects the fundamentals. And there's a way you can do that we're going to tell you later. But as a futurist or investor that looks, if you want something early enough to where the fundamentals and the hype value pushes it to a 20 times valuation from where you bought it at. That's what you really, really want. Those are the big wins. Now, a part of Palantir's price is just hype. Palantir's real price is like $20, $30. But the hype and the potential and the fast rate they're growing, the value is higher. Now, remember what a stock is. A stock is a piece of a company. Now, if you add up all the stocks, the company has a value. Now, companies, if I sold my company, if I had any company that I have right now, and I've sold companies before, 3 companies before in the past. Now, if I sold a company, what we sit under the table, they look at the revenue, they look at the profit, they come up with a valuation based on how many months of revenue minus all the debt and stuff that you have, and it's a price on that. And you can negotiate that. Well, it's 36 months of revenue we're going to pay you for this. Well, I want 40 months. Well, we can do 38. See, it's kind of, but it's in a tight range. And it's based on revenue because they're going to take out a loan to buy that company in more cases than not. And they have to have the profit that comes off the company to be more than the loan payment. So if the loan is at 3, 4, 5%, your company got to be producing 20% of what it's worth. So if I put $1 million into this company, I needed to produce, at least, 20% return on that million. So I need to profit at least $200,000 a year, because if I take out $1 million loan and it's at 5%, I can make the 15% difference. That you couldn't buy a company that didn't make any money for $1 million, because you'd end up in a high risk position because you got to pay for the loan and you ain't making no money. That's why small companies are evaluated. But now big companies, most of the stock market is valued like that. But the companies with hype like Palantir can be valued on future potential. And it technically could be overvalued. And we know this because of the PE ratio, price to earnings ratio. And that tells you, and that's in the stock metrics, when you look up a stock, it says a P&E ratio. It tells you how much investors are paying for each dollar of that company's profit. So it's calculated, it's simple. It's calculated by dividing the stock price by the company's earnings per share. It's called an EPS. If a stock is $100, it earns $5 per share. That means that the P&E ratio is 20, right? Because if you take that 100, you divide it by 5, you get 20. 15 to 20 is good. 15 is really what we're going to look for. 15 to 20 for an average stock is good. Now, tech companies, sometimes they're over 30, which is good because tech companies are valued a little bit different because they don't have the same, they scale differently. They grow a lot more rapidly. A lot of times tech companies don't have to get new employees, especially software companies, because software is easily copyable. So you don't have to have new employees. A car manufacturer has to have more employees the more they scale out. That's the difference. So a company, like we said, has true value: revenue, profit, debt, cash flow. So an average company is 15 to 20 P&E. That means if you take all the value of you take the stock, you divide it by how much that stock earns per share. You take out all the revenue that company makes, you divide it by the outstanding shares, you get a number. And you get what the stock value is. You divide the stock price by what the earnings per share is, which is also on the stock metrics. You get a P&E ratio. And that P&E ratio should be around 15 to 20 for an average run-of-the-mill stock. Now, a tech company could have 30, 40, 50, and that's still okay. Once you get over 100, it's ridiculous. It starts to get scary. Right now, Palantir's is 560. So that tells you something right there. Tesla, an average company maybe 15, 16. So that means that people are paying that much for a company that if you bought it in the open market, you wouldn't even make any money on that company. If you bought all the outstanding shares, you'd actually be in debt, severely in debt. But the price is high because of potential. So that's where a lot of the naysayers are saying the risk point is. It could be failed because of that. So the thing about it is that there's 2 ways this can go. Now, Palantir has to execute and continue to grow, and they'll be okay. A company can earn more money rapidly and it will bring that P&E ratio down to a reasonable number. That's what Tesla did. That's what Amazon did. They had similar P&E ratios at one point, but their fundamentals, what we talked about, the fundamentals are revenue, profit, growth, debt, all these other metrics. The fundamentals caught up with their extremely high P&E ratio. As they matured, as they got better, as they expanded in the marketplaces. Now, Palantir is relatively new, so there's a good chance that their fundamentals will catch up, and that's what people are expecting. That's why they're paying so much for the shares, because they think one day it will catch up, and they're trying to get in early. So I'm still buying Palantir. I think that we can expect some drops because of these issues, but long term, I think all of us are okay. Last thing I want to say, Chestnut Checkers Group is back over step-by-step courses, crypto and stock picks, tight investor group, 30 people become millionaires, under 10,000. DeLorean Dreams, May 22nd, LA, crypto, real estate, robotics, nuclear, and quantum plays. Both of the links are in the chat. You can DM me or put it in the comments. Los Angeles if you want the link to the event, or CNC if you want the link to the CNC. So that's it for this week's today's Future Money. If you got value from today's breakdowns, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with somebody who's serious about learning about future investing. If you're ready to take things further, remember we got the group, and we're building real strategies, and we have real results every day. Thank you guys for tapping in with me. I'm Armando Pantoja. See you on Wednesday, same time, same energy, same focus on the future.